वृंदावन रम्य स्थान दिव्य चिंतामणि धाम रतन मंदिर मनोहर वृंदावन रम्य स्थान दिव्य चिंतामणि धाम रतन मंदिर मनोहर आवृत्त कालिंदी रे राजहंस केळी कोरे ताहे शोभे कनक कमाल वृंदावन रम्य स्थान दिव्य चिंतामणि धाम रत्न मंदिर मनोहर तारा मध्ये हेमापीठ हस्तधौळे वेष्टित हस्तधौळे प्रधान नायिक तारा मध्ये हेमपीठ हस्तधौळे वेष्टित हस्तधौळे प्रधान नायिक तारा मध्ये रत्नासने कोसियाचे दुई जणे श्याम संगे सुंदरी राधिका वृंदावन रम्य स्थान दिव्य चिंतामणि धाम रतन मंदिर मनोहर रूप लावण्य राशि अमीय परिचय काशी हास्य परिहास संभाषणे रूप लावण्य राशि अमीय परिचय काशी हास्य परिहास संभाषणे नरोत्तम दास कोई नित्य लीला सुखामोय सदै स्फुरत मोरा मानी वृंदावन रम्य स्थान दिव्य चिंतामणि धाम रतन मंदिर मनोहर हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे जय प्रभुपदा 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 जय श्रील प्रभुपदा जय गुरुदेव 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 जय जय गुरुदेव नित्य गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल नित्य गौर हरि बोल। Let me share. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वापदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरोन् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजाता सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवम् अद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं कृष्ण चैतन्य देवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपदान् सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितं स हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेशा गोपिका कान्ता राधा कान्ता नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचना गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Cheva Narottamam Devim Saraswati Vyasam Tato Jayamudire Nastaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकीनन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः नमः पङ्कजनाभाय नमः पङ्कजमालिने नमः पङ्कजनेत्राय नमस्ते पङ्कजाङ्ग्रये नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नामिने गोरतिसे नमः नमो ब्रह्मण्याय देवाय गोब्राह्मणहिताय च जगद्दिताय कृष्णाय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः नमः ॐ विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिधि नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधार श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे मुखं करोति वाचालं पङ्गं लङ्घयति गिरिं यत्कृपातं तं वन्दे श्रीगुरुदीनतारिणं श्रीपरमानन्दमाधवं श्रीकृष्णचैतन्य ईश्वरं ओपमहं पवित्रो पवित्रो वा सर्वावस्थो गतोऽपि वा यस्मरेत् पुण्डरीकाक्ष सा वाह्यं शुचे श्रीविष्णु 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 हरे कृष्णा माधवी माता जी दंडवत प्रणाम प्रशांति माता जी दंडवत प्रणाम श्री गोपाल प्रभु दंडवत प्रणाम जगन्नाथ प्रभु दंडवत प्रणाम आनंद राम प्रभु दंडवत प्रणाम मधुसूदन राव प्रभु दंडवत प्रणाम शिल्पा माता जी दंडवत प्रणाम थैंक यू फॉर गिविंग मी दिस opportunity to speak something about Srimad Bhagavatam. I pray to the lotus feet of the Lord Sri Hari, to the whole parampara, to all the assembled Vaishnavas, so that I can speak something about Srimad Bhagavatam, though I am not qualified enough. It is only due to the mercy of all of you I am able to speak. If there is any mistake which I have committed, please forgive me. If there is anything which I have done good, it is all due to the Srila Prabhupada and other acharyas.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
So let us have a small recap of what has happened so far in the previous classes. So in the last class yesterday, Mahesh Prabhu has beautifully explained the praises of the King Prithu by the professional reciters. So in that he spoke about how did the Prithu Maharaj was glorified and what are the qualities of Prithu Maharaj. So as we see, the birds were very pleased by the humility of the King Prithu, though they were unable to glorify because of the humble nature of the birds. They say that they are unable to glorify the Prithu Maharaj. As we all know, Prithu Maharaj was a partial incarnation of Lord Supreme Personality of Godhead. So naturally, it is not enough with one mouth or two eyes to glorify Lord Sri Hari. So this is what they are going to say. They were saying. Nonetheless, they started to glorify. So though we are unable to glorify the Supreme Personality of Godhead in fullest extent, we have to do that glorification. Shravanam Kirtanam. So this is the process of devotional service. So then qualities of the Prithu Maharaj was described. First, it was described as a upholder of the Dharma. So when Krishna descends in this material world, he establishes Dharma. So here also, Prithu Maharaj was upholding the Dharma. So because earlier King Vena, almost he destroyed the dharmic principles and all the citizens were suffering. So Prithu Maharaj is acting as, will act as like different devatas. So it is said in the Bhagavad Gita that a devotee is an embodiment of all the devatas. So all the Mukkoti Devatas reside in the body of a Devata. So here Prithu Maharaj is actually supreme personality of Godhead. So here he is acting as a embodiment of all the Devatas in different levels. As Surya, as Bhumi, as Indra, he is supplying rain, Chandra, Varuna, Vishnu, Agni, Vayu, as Dharma, as a sun. So we have seen the qualities of the King Prithu. His activities were very pleasing. So a king should be, ideally, a king should be following the footsteps of the Prithu Maharaj, like Parishit Maharaj, Yudhishthir Maharaj. So then only people in the society will be happy. Otherwise, what happens? Rainfalls doesn't happen. So there is calamities. There are so many disturbances happening. So which we can see in the modern civilization, where our kings are not Krishna conscious, not in the following the principles of the Prithu Maharaj. So naturally, what happens? Our kings are following the footsteps of King Vena. Instead of following the Prithu Maharaj, they are following the King Vena. What happens? We will see here. The prediction of the Prithu Maharaj's future activity, how he travels around the globe, and he starts milking the earth. So Prithu Maharaj starts milking the earth. So that is actually the 19th chapter, where we can see how Prithu Maharaj invites all the other representatives to milk whatever they require from the earth. Here in the 17th, in the 18th chapter, what we see is why did Prithu Maharaj started milking earth? What happened? What is the situation that drove to such a situation that he has to milk the mother earth? There is a terrifying to the thieves. His sacrifices, his meeting with the Kumaras, and his fame and glorification was elaborately discussed by Mahesh Prabhu. So today we see Maharaj of Prithu becomes angry at the earth. So Prithu Maharaj was not milking the mother earth out of love or out of just for a namesake. There is a purpose behind it, which we'll see in this chapter. So Vidura further inquiries Maitreya Muni to describe about the qualities of what happened during this pastime. So King Prithu chases the earth in the form of a cow. Earth gives a reasons to not to be killed. Prithu's encounter arguments to the earth, and the earth offers prayers to pacify the Prithu Maharaj. So these are sections which we are going to see in this session. So any volunteers would like to read text 1 to text number 4, 1 to 4. Anyone would like to read? Shah Prabhu, Jagannath Prabhu,
Yeah, Hare Krishna Prabhuji. I will
yes,
read.
Silva Mats, yes.
Translation 1, text 1. The great sage Maitreya continued, in this way, the reciters who were glorifying Maharaj Prithu readily described his qualities and chivalrous activities. At the end, Maharaja Prithu offered them various presentations with all due respect and worshipped them adequately. Text 2 translation. King Prithu thus satisfied and offered all respect to all the leaders of the Brahmanas and other castes, to his servants, to his ministers, and to the priests, citizens, general countrymen, people from other communities, admirers, and others, and thus they all became happy. Third one also, Prabhuji?
Yes, until 4.
Okay. Text 3. Vidura inquired from the great sage Maitreya, my dear Brahmana, since Mother Earth can appear in different shapes, why did she take the shape of a cow? And when King Prithu milked her, who became the calf and what was the milking pot? Text 4 translation. The surface of the earth is by nature low in some places and high in others. How did King Prithu level the surface of the earth, and why did the king of heaven, Indra, steal the horse meant for the sacrifice? Hare Krishna.
Thank you. So we have seen that as we have seen the professional reciters, they glorified Maharaj Prithu and they worshipped adequately as per the situation, as per the position. So false, as we all know, we have heard that false glorification leads to disrespect. So they have corrected themselves and they glorified Prithu Maharaj accordingly. After obeying the respects, the Brahmanas and other caste servants to his ministers and priests, he took the king Prithu to the charge of a king. So then Vidura asked the Maitreya, why did Brahmana, my dear Brahmana, since Mother Earth can appear in different shapes, so what is the particular reason of taking the shape of a cow? She could have taken any other form. So what is the reason behind that? Then why did King Prithu milked her? Who became the calf? So in the next chapter, we see who are the different castes. So different categories. People will devotees of the different categories. For example, so Prahlad Maharaj from the Dhanavas, he comes as a caste. So who are those castes who milked this cow and what did they get it? What did they get? So what was the milking pot, the holding tumbler? Then the surface of the earth is by nature low in some places and high in others. How did King Prithu level the surface of the earth and why did the king of heaven, Indra, steal the horse meant for the sacrifice? So this earth is called Prithvi. So we call it Prithvi. So why Prithvi is named? It is because it is named after the king. This Bharatavarsha came after the king Bharata. This Prithvi is named after King Prithu. So as we all know, in Bhagavad Gita, first chapter, in first text, Dharma Kshetre, Kurukshetre. So in that elaborate purport which Srila Prabhupada gives, Prithu Maharaj's sacrifice was mentioned. So in that land of Kurukshetra, so Prithu Maharaj was plowing the land. So it is a duty of the king to plow the land before any harvest is made. So here the harvest of Dharma is being made, and King Prithu Maharaj was plowing the land so that when the Kurukshetra battle happens, so when people die in this holy land, his idea was so that people can at least reach the heavenly planets. So King Indra was pleased by that, pleased by all those things. So King Indra was pleased by the sacrifice of the Prithu Maharaj and gives him the benediction that those who die in the place of Kurukshetra, they attain the heavenly abodes. So that was the explanation given in the 1.1 of the Bhagavad Gita. So King Prithu Maharaj did so elaborate sacrifices and why did King, before the King Indra gives any benediction, he becomes jealous or insecure. Then what did he do to steal the house of the horse of the King Prithu Maharaj? Text number 5. Anyone would like to read?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prasad. Translation is not full.
Yes, Prabhu. Okay. There are 4 Vaishnava Sampradayas, okay, or the systems of disciplic succession. One Sampradaya comes from the Lord Brahma, one from Goddess Fortune, one from Kumaras, headed by Sanat Kumara, and one from Lord Shiva. These 4 systems of disciplic succession are still going on. As King Prithu was illustrated, one who is serious about receiving the transcendental Vedic knowledge must accept a guru or spiritual master in one of these 4 discipline successions. Only yellow color one shall I read, Prabhu, or remaining?
No, full.
Full, okay. It is said that unless one accepts a mantra from one of these sampradayas, okay, the so-called mantra will not act in Kali Yuga. Many sampradayas have sprung up without authority, and they are misleading the people by giving unauthorized mantras. The rascals of these so-called sampradayas do not observe the Vedic rules and regulations. Although they are addicted to all kind of sinful activities, they still offer the people mantras and thus mislead them. Intelligent persons, however, know that such mantras will never be successful, and as such, they never patronize such upstart spiritual groups. People should be very careful of these nonsensical sampradayas to get some facility for the sense gratification. Unfortunate people in this age receive mantras from the so-called sampradayas. Prithu Maharaj, however, showed by his example that one should receive knowledge from bona fide sampradaya. Therefore, Maharaj Prithu accepted Sanat Kumara as his spiritual master. Hare Krishna.
So here a great kingly saintly king, Maharaj Prithu, received knowledge from Sanat Kumara, who was the greatest Vedic scholar. Here we can see that the importance of the spiritual sampradaya is being described. In most of the places, this is being repeated. So as we all know, in the Bhagavad Gita, it is said that where does the knowledge come from? So Krishna says, Matta Smrutir Jnanam Apohanam Cha. Krishna says, Jnanam is also coming, knowledge is also coming from me. But at present moment, Krishna, we cannot see Krishna directly. Though he is available here, but we cannot tap into the Krishna. Why? Because there is a missing link. So that is also Krishna is specifying in the Srimad Bhagavad Gita, 4th chapter. Evam parapara pratam imam rajasyo viduhu sakalena mahata yogo nasta parantaraha. So this knowledge is coming from Krishna in the bona fide disciplic succession. So when we are attached to the bona fide disciplic succession, then this knowledge comes from Krishna to all of us. So here, Maharaja Prithu is also explained. So whenever Krishna is coming in the coming to the this material world, he also follows the sampradaya. Fortunately, as we all know, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has come in this in our sampradaya, Gaudiya Vaishnava sampradaya. So in Maharaja Prithu is also linked to the Sanat Kumara sampradaya. So we all know there are 4 sampradayas. So one is Brahma sampradaya, Kumara Sampradaya, Rudra Sampradaya, and Sri Sampradaya. So Maharaj Prithu took the knowledge from Sanat Kumaras, which is a bona fide disciplic succession. So we all think we are all devotees, we are following Srila Prabhupada, so we know about Krishna. But when we see the WhatsApp forwards, so we all get a WhatsApp forward from Facebook, Instagrams, and other things. So without any verification, even the devotees, they are sending the WhatsApp message, forwarding the WhatsApp messages. It's very dangerous. So we should understand whether the message being transmitted in the WhatsApp, all those things are in the bona fide disciplic succession or not. There was a nice video on YouTube. If the time permits, I will share you in the WhatsApp group. So we got all the information. Krishna says, you do whatever you want to do. I will give you whatever I want. There are so many informations like this. There are so much information named by on the name of Krishna and Arjuna on the name of Bhagavad Gita being transmitted in the social media, which even Krishna did not know. Where did he say? We all know there are 700 slokas. Prabhupada has given elaborate explanations. Go to this ISKCON Disciplinary and see there's so many lectures. But never we hear such messages. Even we are forwarding those messages. So as a devotee of following the bona fide disciplic succession, there is an every necessity that whenever we are sending a message, whether the message is bona fide or not, that should be very much checked by us. Because it is coming from a devotee doesn't mean that it is a bona fide. One should be very aware of that. One must accept a guru or a spiritual master. Without accepting a guru or a spiritual master, we cannot be in that disciplic succession. So today we are having Kantimala, Tilak, all those things. We are following Hare Krishna. We are doing some things. But until and unless we are thorough that we are confirmed that we require a guru, we cannot progress in the spiritual life. The mantra which we take doesn't work out. Doesn't mean that whatever chanting we do doesn't work out. It's working out. But the potency of this chanting increases manifold. The potency of our services increases manifold when we accept the spiritual master. Why should we accept a spiritual master? Not as a fashion statement, or not that this Maharaj is giving initiation, this Maharaj is giving initiation. My friend took initiation from this so and so. So I also want to take initiation. These are not the reasons. Yes, of course, these might be the initial reasons. But these are not the sufficient reasons to take initiation from the Guru. So what is how should we what is the mode we have to do? We take initiation. Yashya prasado bhagavad prasado. We all know the spiritual to attain the spirituality to success, we depend upon the mercy of the Lord Sri Krishna. So Krishna is not going to give us mercy easily. Until unless he is pleased, he is not going to give. So how can we please Krishna? Only when we please Guru. When we follow the instructions of our Guru Maharaj. Otherwise, there is no point in taking initiation. So that is what we have to remember. So Prithu Maharaj, however, showed by his example that one should receive knowledge from a bona fide sampradaya. So Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, "Yadyat acharati sheshas tattat evataro janaha." So actually, there is no reason for Krishna to work in this material world. No, there is no reason for devotees to work in this material world. They are all liberated, free from these material desires. But because why they are working, it is to show to other people that even I am doing. So Acharya means Acharya iti Acharya. One should follow by his own examples. One should preach by his own examples. This is what Maharaj Prithu is also showing. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is showing, and all the devotees are showing. We have to follow by an example. Text number 6 and 7. Anyone would like to read? Anyone? Prithu Maharaj was a powerful incarnation of Lord Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, should I read?
Yes, Prabhu, sure.
Yeah, sorry, Prabhuji, I could not unmute quickly. Yeah, so I'll read. Translation. Prithu Maharaj was a powerful incarnation of Lord Krishna's potencies. Consequently, any narration concerning his activities is surely very pleasing to hear, and it produces all good fortune. As far as I am concerned, I am always your devotee, as well as a devotee of the Lord, who is known as Adokshaja. Please, therefore, narrate all the stories of King Prithu, who, in the form of the son of King Vena, milked the cow-shaped earth. Purport. Lord Krishna is also known as Avatari, which means one from whom all the incarnations emanate. In Bhagavad Gita 10.8, Lord Krishna says, Aham sarvasya prabhavo matta sarvam pravartate. I am the source of all spiritual and material worlds. Everything emanates from me. Thus, Lord Krishna is the origin of everyone's appearance. As far as this material world is concerned, Lord Brahma, Lord Vishnu, and Lord Shiva are all emanations from Krishna. These three incarnations of Krishna are called Guna Avataras. A material world is governed by three material modes of nature, and Lord Vishnu, Lord Brahma, and Lord Shiva respectively take charge of the mode of goodness, passion, and ignorance. King Prithu is also an incarnation of those qualities of Lord Krishna by which one rules over conditioned souls.
So here, Vidura is asking to explain all the qualities regarding the Maharaj Prithus or King Krishna's incarnation. Because devotee is always pleased only in hearing the Krishna Katha. There is no other thing. He said, in the first canto, in the Srimad Bhagavatam, Narada Muni explains there are two types of literatures in this world. One is material literature and other is a spiritual literature, which is full of Krishna Katha. So Vyasadeva was also very dejected after writing all the Vedas because there is no sufficient glorification done for Krishna. So this is an indication that in order for us to be happy, our life should be filled with Krishna Katha, whatever it is. So some people think that Krishna Katha is only in the 10th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam. No. It is right from the canto 1 to all. So there is a sequence, canto 1, canto 2, canto 3, canto 4, and canto 10. But these people, they jump directly into the canto 10, thinking that the Krishna Katha is only on the 10th canto. So all the incarnations, all the avatars are also in emanations of the Krishna. Prithu Maharaj, all those incarnations also equivalent to the Krishna's incarnation. So by hearing this, the pastimes of all the Prithu Maharaj also purifies us from the material diseases. So no one can perceive the Supreme Personality of Godhead by mental speculation. Therefore, a person with a poor fund of knowledge cannot understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So we think that we can read Srimad Bhagavatam and understand, we can hear and understand. It doesn't happen. Yes, it is also a required. We have to read, we have to do Swadhyaya. But ultimately, it is not by our material strength, mental speculation, we can understand Krishna. We have to seek the prayers, we have to seek the mercy of the Krishna. So whenever we are chanting, whenever we are doing the services, we have to beg to Krishna so that my service, you can be pleased. Please give mercy to me. I am fallen soul in this material world. Please lift me from this material world. This is what we have to pray whenever we are doing any kind of services. Bhuta Goswami continued, when Vidura became inspired to hear of the activities of Lord Krishna in his various incarnations, Maitreya also being inspired and being very pleased with Vidura, began to praise him. Then Maitreya spoke as follows. So here, the importance of this Krishna Katha is being mentioned. The talk of Krishna Katha about Lord Krishna or his incarnation is spiritually so inspiring. The reciter and hearing are never exhausted. So we all see there are Bhagavata Saptas being conducted. So 7 days Bhagavatam will be described. But even Parikshit Maharaj also had Bhagavata Saptaha from Sukdev Goswami. But Parikshit Maharaj was very happy, or Sukadev Goswami is very happy. But when we enter Bhagavata Saptaha, the reciter and the speaker and the hearer is not happy. We can see. So what is the difference? So Parikshit Maharaj was not tiring. 24/7 he heard from Sukadev Goswami. We all are grihasthas. We have other jobs to do. We have food to make. We have to take care of our children, officers, everything. It's very hard for us to take 7 days leave. We don't get in this world in the current IT scenario. 7 days, 24 hours. Is it possible for all of us to sit without tiring? After 1 hour or 2 hours, we start adjusting our seats. How long he can take it? How long Prabhuji will speak? How long Mataji will speak? When is the prasadam being served? So these are the things which we come into our mind because we are restless. Cannot sit in a class for more than 2 hours. Fortunately, we have tolerance for 3 hours. But when it is more than 3 hours, are we going to sit? So some of us are going to Radhanath Swami Maharaj Yatra, Kartik Yatra. So here he gives a lecture of at least 4 hours, followed by Kirtan. So everyone who are assembled there are never tired of that. And am I such a person? Can I tolerate that one? So there was once a scenario where Amarendra Prabhu was giving a class in some American country. I don't remember. So he was going on speaking. 3 hours happened. 4 hours happened. The hosts were worried. Sudden time is happening. Dinner time is happening. Devotees might leave or devotees might get weak. The hosts are very tense. How should I intimate to them? But all the listeners are hearing the katha, and Amarendra Prabhu was giving the class. It happened for about 10 to 15 hours. Over whole night they spoke about Srimad Bhagavatam. So the indication where we are progressing in spirituality is dependent on how eagerness are we hearing. Are we enthusiastic to hear Bhagavatam or not? What is our stamina? We have actually seen that one can never become satiated by hearing the conversation between Vidura and Maitreya. So this is our parameter for progress in the spiritual life. Am I eager to read Srimad Bhagavatam? Am I eager to hear Harikatha, or am I looking only after the things? A symptom of spiritual talks is that no one feels tired. The great sage Maitreya continued, my dear Vidura, at that time, King Prithu was enthroned by the great sages and the Brahmanas and declared to be the protector of the citizens. There was a scarcity of the food grains. The citizens actually became skinny due to starvation. Therefore, they came before the king and informed him of their real situation. So here we can see the importance of the Varnashrama Dharma. Information is given concerning the selection of the king by the Brahmanas. So, Varnashrama system was created by Krishna. No, it's not a human-made institution. It is given by Krishna himself. So the Brahmanas were so powerful that they could dethrone a king called Vena, and establish Prithu Maharaj as an able ruler. So Brahmanas has the quality to dethrone, empower a person as a king, but they are not greedy to become kings. They know their position. They're always after seeking for the shelter of the Krishna. They guide Kshatriyas. Kshatriyas maintain Shudras and Vaishyas. Vaishyas maintain the entire Varnashrama system. This was a beautiful Varnashrama system given by the king. Sorry, by Lord Krishna. But unfortunately, today we are going for we have created a caste-based politics. You are this caste, I am that caste, and attribute those casteism on Krishna. Krishna created caste, and this is the result we have seen in the material world. No, Krishna has not created a caste system. The citizens, being skinny due to hunger, approached the king and informed him that necessary action should be taken. This is the perfect. So, Sudras or Vaishyas should be maintained by the kings. Kings are the representative of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, whenever there is a scarcity of food in the society, it is the duty of the government to maintain adequate food. But what happens? There are certain nations which are richer. So, the food is surplus to them. So, when the food becomes surplus, they throw it in the rivers and oceans. But other countries like Somalia or backward countries, they are suffering from the scarcity of the food. There is a disparity of food balance. Had it been a one ruler of the entire globe, the food would have been sufficiently distributed across the different countries. But we have geographically divided ourselves and made our boundaries and wasting out certain foods which could have been given to the other country where they could they could not die out of starvation. It's because of our own egoistic mentality where we have divided our entire country. So there is a necessity that there should be a one ruler for the entire globe. So dear king, just as a tree with a fire burning in the hollow of the trunk gradually dries up, we are drying up due to the fire of the hunger in our stomachs. So here we can see, if you have observed any tree burning, the big banyan tree is burning. So we cannot see a fire outside. Sometimes the fire starts from inside. All the hollow inside the banyan tree gets burnt up and you can see the flames. Similarly, the fire of the hunger is burning from inside to all the citizens. So you are the protector of the surrendered souls. You have been appointed to give us employment. Therefore, we all have come to give to you for protection. So it is the duty of a king to make sure that each and every citizen is properly employed. So we can see that here the citizens are not lazy. So we today in different cities, different states, what is happening? The so-called kings are distributing money freely, so making the citizens lazy enough. By without any working, they're getting money. So why should I work? So people are getting lazy, and kings are distributing money freely for votes. Coming is the elections. We all know how elections are going to happen. So this is simply the exploitation of the exploitation mentality. King is exploiting the citizens, citizens is exploiting the king's mentality. But the king's duty is to make sure that each and every one is engaged in the service of Krishna. You are not only a king, but an incarnation of the God as well. Indeed, you are the king of all kings. You can give us all kinds of occupational engagements, for you are the master of the livelihood. Therefore, O King of all kings, please arrange to satisfy our hunger by proper distribution of the food grain. Please take our house, lest we should die soon. So, whenever there is a scarcity, the duty of the citizen to he can go to the his administrator and ask for protection. So all the brahmanas, they are coming to King Prithu so that King Prithu is an incarnation of the Krishna and has to protect his citizens. So although they were not lazy, they still could not produce sufficient food. So today citizens have become lazy. Agriculturists have become lazy. That's why there is no proper food. But in those times, it was not because of the laziness that food was not there was no scarcity. It is because of some other reason which Prithu Maharaj has to find out. After hearing his lamentation and seeing the pitiable condition of the citizens, King Prithu contemplated this matter for a long time to see if he could find out the underlying cause. Anyone would like to read the yellow text highlighted here? Any reward?
Hare Krishna.
Yes, Jagannath Prabhu. Yes, the highlighted.
It was not the people's fault, for they were not lazy in executing their duties. Rather, the earth was not producing sufficient food grains. This indicates that the earth can produce sufficiently if everything is properly arranged. But sometimes the earth can refuse to produce food grains for various reasons.
So here it is clearly explained by Srila Prabhupada. It is not the fault of citizens without they're trying their level best to cultivate crops and everything. But it is the earth which is not producing the food. It should have produced. It has a capacity to produce, but it is not producing. So if there is a favorable situation, that will produce some very nicely. We all can see in our VSK. So in the VSK, we see so much plantation is happening. It is very coming very green and very naturalist. But when we see in the outer area, there is the cultivation is very less. Why? What is the difference? Why the area is very nearby? Because that portion of the land is very happy because cows are being served properly, Vaishnavas are taken proper care, Gopalas are taken proper care. So that's why the land is giving so much food grains. Similarly, when there are conditions are sufficient and favorable, earth will produce sufficient food. Today, we are facing scarcity is not because of the increase in the population. We all give scientists give that because there is an explosion in the population, food grains are not sufficient, food stocks are not sufficient. It is not that the case. Earth can produce enough for all the living entities. So who is providing food for the ant? Who is providing food for the cow? Then why don't we get food? So we all get food provided we maintain a proper environmental conditions where Krishna consciousness, God consciousness is more, food production is more. Otherwise, there will be scarcity. So here Radhanath Maharaj says, there is no scarcity of food in this material world. There is scarcity of love. There is only the scarcity of love. So one has to spread love. Only when one is connected to Krishna, one can spread love. Otherwise, there is no way one can spread love. So when the earth saw that the King Prithu was taking his bow and arrow to kill her, she became very much afraid and began to tremble. She began to flee, exactly like a deer, which runs very swiftly, when followed by the hunter. Being afraid of King Prithu, she took the shape of a cow and ran. So just like mother can produce male child or a female child, earth can produce all kinds of necessary as per the climatic conditions. She was afraid of the anger of the Prithu Maharaj. That's why she took the form of a cow and she was running. Since a cow is never killed, she knows Prithu Maharaj is an incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Krishna is Go Brahmana Hitayecha. He is very favorable to Go and Brahmana, especially the Go. So in order to escape from the wrath of the Prithu Maharaj, she took the form of a cow so that he may be protected, he may be saved from the Prithu Maharaj. So anyone would like to read 15 to 18? Hare Krishna, anyone would like to read translations of 15 to 18?
I'll read, Prabhuji.
Yes, ma'am.
15 translation. Seeing this, Maharaj Prithu became very angry and his eyes became as red as early morning sun. Placing an arrow on his bow, he chased the cow-shaped earth wherever she would run. Translation 16. The cow-shaped earth ran here and there in outer space between the heavenly planets and the earth, and wherever she ran, the king chased her with his bow and arrows. Text 17. Just as man cannot escape the cruel hands of death, the cow-shaped earth could not escape the hands of the son of Vena. At length, the earth, fearful, her heart aggrieved, turned back in helplessness. Translation 18. Addressing the great opulent King Prithu as the knower of the religious principles and shelter of the surrendered, she said, "Please save me. You are the protector of all living entities. Now you are situated as the king of this planet." Hare Krishna.
So here, King the Earth was very fearful about the Prithu Maharaj's anger. So how does the anger look like? Is getting described here. Prithu Maharaj's anger was such an extent that his eyes became like a red eye. The early morning sun, we can see how it is like a red color. Such was the redness of his eyes. Seeing that eyes, he took the shape of a cow and started running in the outer space, where Prithu Maharaj was also chasing with a bow and an arrow to kill that Mother Earth in the shape of a cow. Just like a man cannot escape the cruel death hands of the death. So we are all mortal beings. Man is trying to become immortal by artificial means to escape death. But wherever we go, whether it is from Patala Loka or to the Brahma Loka, wherever we run, we cannot escape the cruel death because it is in the material world. The material world consists of this Janma, Mrityu, Jara and Vyadi. This is going to come whether we take the position of a Brahma as well. So similarly, as one cannot escape the death, similarly, she could not escape from the hands of a son of a King Vena. Here, the son of a King Vena is being described. Not Prithu Maharaj, the son of the King Vena. So, seeing the condition of the Vena, she is addressing, she is Prithu Maharaj is being addressed as a son of Vena because he is not taking a proper care. Addressing the great opulent King Prithu as the knower of the religious principles, the shelter of the surrendered, she said, "Please save me. You are the protector of all living beings. Now you are situated as a king of planets." So the principle of religion dictates that a woman, a child, we all know, women should be protected, cow should be protected, child should be protected, Brahmana and old man should be protected at any all costs. Whether a woman does a mistake, she should be protected. Religious principles also dictate that one is not to be killed if he surrenders. One who is surrendered should not be killed. That is a religious code. And Maharaj Prithu is a follower of the religious principle. In fact, he is the establishment of the religious principle. But as a person like that, he should not deviate from the religion. Can you name anyone, any Maharaj, any king who had killed a woman for the protection of the citizens? Can anyone guess who is that? Who in the history of killed a woman for the protection of the yajnas, all that's happening? Any guesses?
Lord Rama killed Tataki.
Yes, Lord Rama. Well, thank you so much, Praveen Prabhu. It is Lord Rama who killed Tataki for the protection of yajnas, all these things. So there also, Rama was the incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So as a Supreme Personality of God, he should be an ideal role model. Then why did he kill the women? Why is he saying that one can kill women? So there are certain conditions where that injunctions also can be followed. Not by whimsically we should do it. So we are not Lord Rama or Lord Prithu Maharaj. So in order to establish dharma, Krishna can take his own actions. That is being in the course of the discussion. We'll see Prithu Maharaj gives sufficient reasons why he is going to kill Mother Earth, though being in the form of a cow. She is surrendered and she is a woman. The cow-shaped earth continued to appeal to king. I am very poor and have not committed any sinful activities. I do not know why you want to kill me. Since you are supposed to be the knower of the religious principles, why are you envious of me? Why are you so anxious to kill a woman? So here Mother Earth is giving reasons why she should not be killed. I am very poor. The poor should be protected and not committed. She is saying that I have not committed many mistakes. Since I have not committed any mistakes, what is the reason for you to kill me? Even if a woman does not commit some sinful activities, no one should place his hand upon her. And what to speak of you, dear king, who are so merciful, you are protected and you are affectionate to the poor. So in the land of Bharatavarsha, women are being respected. Though there are sometimes women out of their ignorance, they may commit mistakes, they are not to be punished, they are to be protected. And what to speak of a king like Maharaj Prithu, who is an incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The cow-shaped earth continued, my dear king, I am just like a strong boat, and all the paraphernalia of the world is standing upon me. If you break me into pieces, how can you protect yourself and your subjects from me? So when we are traveling in a boat, presently we are not traveling in a boat. Assume we are traveling in a bus or a car. When we destroy that vehicle, how are we going to travel to our destination? So we put so many our luggage in the cars, our materials in the cars. How are we going to carry it? So here a cow is Earth is saying that I'm carrying entire paraphernalia of this world. If you kill me, how are these paraphernalia going to sustain? They fall into Garbha ocean. So just like when Hiranyaksha displaces the entire planet Earth, and the planet Earth fall into the Garbhodaka ocean. So then who protected it? Only Varahadeva protected it. Re-established and carried into its own position. So she's asking, if you throw me into this, if you kill me, the entire paraphernalia which is on me is falling into the Garbhodaka ocean. So please don't kill me. So anyone would like to read text number 22? Anyone?
Hare Krishna. Prabhu.
Yes,
Okay,
Prasad.
okay.
Yes, Prasad.
Text number 22. Translation. King Prithu replied to the earthly planet, my dear earth, you have disobeyed my orders and rulings. In the form of demigod, you accepted your share of the yajnas we performed, but in return, you have not produced sufficient food grains. For this reason, I must kill you. Purport. Shall I proceed, Purport, Prabhu?
Yellow text.
Okay. The cow-shaped earthly planet submitted that she not only was a woman, but was a innocent and sinless as well. Thus, she argued that she should not be killed. Besides, she pointed out that being perfectly religious minded, the king could not violate the religious principles that forbade killing a woman. In reply, Maharaja Prithu informed her that first of all, she had disobeyed his orders. This was her first sinful activity. Secondly, he accused her of taking her share of yajnas, sacrifices, but not producing sufficient food grains in return.
Earth planet has given a reason why she should not be killed, but instead she should be protected because she is a woman, an innocent and sinless one. As a woman, women are considered to be innocent and sinless, so one should protect them any cost. But Maharaj Prathu is giving the reasons why she should be punished or killed. First is that she had disobeyed the Supreme Personality of Godhead. She should obey the direct orders of the Supreme. Earth planet, her duty is to produce sufficient food grains for its citizens. She has disobeyed obeyed the orders. Not only that, he took the yajnas. He is a form of a devata. Earth is a devata. So whatever the yajnas which are being performed, some share is going to the devata, and naturally, Earth planet has taken his share. She took it, but she is not producing anything in return. It should be give and take. So she has taken the necessary benefits, but she has to do her duty, but she is not doing her duty. So that's why Maharaj Prithu was angry on her. Although you are eating grass every day, you are not filling your milk bag. So we can utilize your milk. Since you are willfully committing offense, it cannot be said that you are not punishable due to your assuming the form of a cow. So it is a see, because it is Mother Earth took the form of shape of a cow. Maharaj Prithu was giving a sufficient reason for the cow. As a cow eats the grass every day and has to sufficiently give milk for population, the calf and the people. But this cow has taken all the grass, but not filling the bag. So in action, indirectly, Maharaj is saying that you have taken the sacrifices of the yajnas. From the yajnas, you have taken your grass. Now you are bound to give milk, which is your duty, which is the nourishment for the entire civilization. So you don't have any right to stop the milk. Though you are assumed the form of a cow, doesn't make excuse that you should be protected. Even Krishna has killed uh, the demon in the form of a cow, the form of a bull. So he did not excuse because demon has come in the form of a cow or a bull. It should be respected and saved. Krishna has done his own duty. Whether all the Gopalakas. Similarly, Prithu Maharaj also is giving a reason that though you are a form of a cow, you should have done your responsibilities. You have so lost your intelligence that despite my orders, you do not deliver the seeds of the herbs and the grains formerly created by Brahma and now hidden within yourself. So, by example, Prithu Maharaj indicates that whenever there is a scarcity in the food production, the head of the government should take necessary steps to see why production is being held up and what should be done to rectify the situation. But present day kings are only after vote banks, encouraging meat production. So, as a true follower of the King Prithu, a king or a citizen should be responsible to see why the scarcity in the food production is happening. So, anyone who would like to, Jagannath Prabhu, would I like to read text number 25? Hare Krishna, Jagannath Prabhu, earlier you unmuted yourself.
Hi, Prabhuji.
Yes, yes. Translation and the highlighted text, only the yellow text.
Now with the help of my arrows, I shall cut you to pieces, and with your flesh satisfy the hunger-stricken citizens who are now crying for want of grains. Thus I shall satisfy the carrying citizens of my kingdom. Purport. Highlighted is
Highlighted text.
It is there indicated that in rare citizenship, in rare circumstances, when there is no supply of grains, the government may sanction the eating of meat. However, when there is a sufficient food, the government should not allow the eating of cow flesh just to satisfy the uh, fastidious tongue. The maintenance of slaughterhouses for the satisfaction of the tongue and the killing of animals unnecessarily should never be sanctioned by a government.
Yeah, please continue.
First of all, human society must try to produce food grains and vegetables. But if they fails to in this, they can indulge in flesh eating, otherwise not. Some nations, there is so such plants grain, the sometimes extra grains thrown into the sea, and sometimes the government forbids further production of grain. The conclusion is that Earth produce sufficient grains to feed the entire population, but the distribution of these grains is restricted due to trade of regulations and desire for profit.
So it is clearly indicated that so many people say that Shastras allow meat eating. Yes, Shastras do allow meat eating. Even in Srimad Bhagavatam, you can see there is an indication where we can eat even the flesh of a cow. That doesn't mean that tomorrow there's a license that tomorrow you go and purchase cow meat, all those things. It's not a license. So there are certain conditions where this is allowed. So what is the condition? Where there is a restriction, there is no supply of enough food grains. You are doing all your duty to supply the food grains. So you are doing agricultural, but there is no surplus amount coming out. In that condition, when there is nothing else is available, then one is allowed to eat meat. Then government can sanction. But the first duty of a citizen is to produce food grains. Only then the meat is allowed. But today, we can see so many slaughterhouses coming up. There is a surplus amount. There is example given here. We already discussed. There are surplus quantity of food being generated in the entire world. But because of our geographical divisions, because of our egoistic divisions, so some countries producing more, some producing less. Instead of sharing the food, the other person's surplus food is being thrown into the ocean or being wasted. But instead, that could be well distributed to other nations so that there is no starvation. This is clearly an indication that it is producing today even surplus amount of food grains. But people are accustomed to eating meat. But Ram is an exemplary person. The personality of Godhead came and showed how to live in this world. He told to his mother Kaushalya that even when there is no food in the forest, I'm not going to touch it. So actually, in the forest there is only roots and some vegetables. There are sometimes situations where we cannot find anything to eat except for flesh. Some kind of animal will be there. We can see in the National Geographic Channel one show. It shows how to survive in this forest situations or such way. He says how to eat that meat. But Lord Ram could have taken meat. But he said, I would not even touch that meat. I would rather starve, but I will not touch meat. But the foolish people says that Ram said that he will not touch meat in the forest. It implies that he would have touched meat in his palace. So foolish people will think like Ram is a Kshatriya or Ram eats meat. So he could have done that, but he even said, I know I'm not going to touch meat. So we should follow the directions of Lord Ram. Of course, we cannot imitate Lord Ram or such exemplary persons. But we can do whatever is required to survive ourselves. But first thing we should survive on the food. Any cruel person, be he a man, woman, or important eunuch, who is only interested in his personal maintenance, has no compassion for other living entities, may be killed by the king. Such killing can be considered actual killing. So, one who is only interested in the personal maintenance has no compassion for living other may be killed by the king. So, the king can kill the person who is not compassionate. So, devotees are highest compassionate people. Want to give this Krishna consciousness to each and every one. But unfortunately, in this today's world, devotees are the only ones, mainly devotees are the one who is being affected. Kings should have protected the devotees. But unfortunate situation is that kings are not protecting the devotees. A devotee who tries to preach, who has a compassion upon the innocent person, who have no knowledge of the Krishna, is a superior devotee. In his prayer to Lord, Prahlad Maharaj said that he was not personally interested in liberation from his material world. Rather, he did not wish to liberate from this material condition. So it is clearly mentioned here by Prabhupada. As far as the field of spiritual activities is concerned, when a devotee is self-satisfied and does not preach the glories of Krishna, he is not considered to be a first-class devotee. So Srila Prabhupada mentions that everyone, to the maximum extent, has to preach. So preaching doesn't mean we sit in a Vyasasana. Yes, that's also kind of a preaching. So one should preach by own examples. Mataji can cook and serve. That is also a preaching. Simply a simple child, a 7-year-old child, was called by Srila Prabhupada and he asked to the child, "Oh, who is the Supreme Personality of Godhead?" He said, "Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead." So then immediately Srila Prabhupada said to the Brahmanas or Mayavadis, I do not know who is my Brahmanas, or, so who are expert in the Vedas, you are reading the Vedas, but you do not know the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The simple child would say, Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Simply, whatever we knowledge we have, we share it to others. That is preaching. One has to be preached. Don't be self-satisfied. So it's an encouraging statement to all the preachers, to the prospective preachers as well. You are very much puffed up with the pride and have become almost insane. Presently, you have assumed the form of a cow by your mystic power. Nonetheless, I shall cut you into the pieces like grain, and I uphold the entire population by my own peace. So it is a supreme personality Krishna who is making the entire planets, entire universe being floated. Who is giving that energy? So Krishna in the form of Sankarshana. Sankarshana is also gravitational energy. So Krishna in the form of Sankarshana is making the entire planetary system to float. So I say, Pratumara said, by my own mystic potency, I can make the entire paraphernalia to float. Don't worry, you Mother Earth. So no need to worry about that. So now I'm going to cut into pieces and make you into grains and distribute to my citizens. At this time, Ritu Maharaj became exactly like Yamaraj, and his whole body became angry. In other words, he was anger personified. After hearing him, the planet Earth began to tremble. He surrendered and with folded hands began to speak as follows. So he became like Yamaraj. We all get angry. So our eyes, our face becomes red like red hot iron. But what happens by our anger? Due to our anger, we are only going to get affected. But here, Maharaj Prithu, a supreme personality of Godhead, he became angry to correct others. Correct? Yes. So, as a devotee, we all have the right to become angry, but not for the personal gain. But so that we are to become angry, so that we can protect the dignity of the devotees, to protect the Krishna consciousness, to save the person, to save the devotees. Yes, we have the right to become angry, like Hanuman, all those things. So, but it should not be a selfish motive. The planet Earth spoke, "My dear Lord, O Supreme." Now the planet Earth started taking surrender. Dharmana paritejya mamekam sharanam aja. So even though a devotee makes a mistake, offensive mistake, when he realizes his mistake, he starts surrendering. That is a good quality of a human being. When we think that we have done mistake, we have to accept our mistakes and get corrected. My dear Lord, O Supreme Personality of Godhead, you are the transcendental in your position, and by your material energy, you have expanded yourself in various forms and species of life through the interaction of the three modes of the material nature. Unlike some other masters, you always remain in your transcendental position, not affected by the material creation, which is subject to different material interactions. Consequently, you are not bewildered by material activities. So, this one. Consequently, the king knew everything, past, present, and future. So, he, as a supreme personality, he knows what is past, present, and future. So, there is no need for the cow to bluff, Mother Earth to bluff. This is the reasons. He knows everything what is happening. He is preparing to explain how the seeds of these herbs and grains can be exposed. She is giving a method how the milking should happen, which we see in the next chapter, how the King Prithu Maharaj milks the cow. And she realized that unless she pacified his anger, there is no possibility of placing a positive program. So we cannot go against Supreme Personality of Godhead. So many people have tried. Duryodhana tried. Even there is a great example like Bhishma Dev, who tried to go against Krishna. Of course, it's a Leela of Krishna. But though Bhishma he has a Icha Mrityu, he could not go against Krishna. The only thing which we can do is to take the surrender to Krishna. There is no other alternative. Harinama eva kevalam, Harinama eva kevalam, Harinama eva kevalam, no nasteva, nasteva, nasteva katiranyata. There is no other way we can take the surrender of Krishna. We cannot go against him, go against time, except to surrender. It is said that the lower planetary systems are part and parcels of the legs of the Lord. Upper planetary systems are part and parcel. So it is from the entire body, this entire manifestation is being done. Devotee who is already always engaged in the devotional service of the Lord is always liberated. Devotee is always liberated, regardless of his material situation. So whatever situation we are in, when we take the holy names, when we do the services, we are all in the ultimately liberation is achieved. It is possible for a devotee to remain transcendental. It is certainly possible for a supreme personality to remain internal potency. If a devotee is transcendental, naturally, supreme personality of Godhead is transcendental. So there is nothing incurred by the supreme personality of Godhead. The spirit soul, the living entity, who is in full knowledge of his position, is always engaged in chanting. This is very much Satatam Kirtayantoma. Kirtaniya Sadahari. What we should chant? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So our mouth, our tongue should be always absorbed in the chanting of the holy name. So don't stop chanting only 16 rounds. And more and more if you have time. Chant more. Don't restrict to 16 rounds itself. The planet Earth continued. My dear Lord, you are the complete conductor of the material creation. You have created this cosmic manifestation in the three material qualities. Therefore, you have created me, the Earth, planet Earth, the resting place of all living entities. Yet you are always fully independent of my Lord. Now that you are present before me and ready to kill me with your weapons, let me know where I should go and take shelter. So, Ashrishya Mahapadarattam Pinastumam. I have nobody else except you, my master. You are going to kill me. Where should I go and run? I am a weak soul. I cannot understand your potencies. Krishna, we cannot understand Krishna's potencies. So naturally, we are bound to make mistakes. So whether it's a devotee or a non-devotee, we are all going to make mistakes. So Cow is saying that we are making mistakes. If we are not protecting, then whom are we going to take surrender of? The planet again exhibits the symptoms of full surrender. There is no one except Krishna. Whether you punish me, kill me, protect me, hear me, whatever it is, you are my master unconditionally. Because the Lord was prepared to kill the earth, there was no one to give protection. Rake Krishna Mare Krishna Rake ke. So as a devotees, we all hear this. There is no one except Krishna. There is no one except Krishna who can give us shelter. So we can get shelter from Harinam. So our shelter starts from Harinam, Harinam, Harinama eva kevalam. Kalona. So without taking shelter of the holy names, we cannot take the help of, we cannot get any protection. Are we confident enough? Are we confident enough that Harinam is the only shelter? If we are confident, think of this case. Are we having taste of chanting right now? So we do not have any taste for chanting. So yes, as an obligatory thing, as a ritual, or as a obligation to Guru, we are doing it. Yes, actually, we are we have spent so many years in this movement. So naturally, we have some taste. Otherwise, we would not have done the 16 rounds at least. We would have stopped at 1 round or 2 rounds. Why are we doing 16 rounds? Because we have got some taste. So, how many of us have the guts to say to Krishna that take everything in my life? Whatever you consider, take everything. My relatives, my children, my spouse, whatever. My name, my fame, my wealth. Take everything. Just give me the taste for chanting. How many of us are ready to let go of our all material possessions for getting the taste of holy names? At least I am not ready as of now. This we have to introspect. How much taste we are getting in, how much surrender we are to the holy names. As we approach the holy names, as you approach the Bhagavatam, and similarly we approach Krishna, because Krishna is not different from his holy name. Nana Makari Bahuda Nija Sarva Shaktisha. He has invested entire potencies. Bhagavad Gita, he says, I am the Yajna, I am the Japa. So the moment we are holding the beads, means it is as good as we are holding the toenails of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. How many of us have that conviction? I'm holding the lotus feet of the Lord Supreme. We are not holding that. We are not like Haridas Thakur. Haridas Thakur chanted 192 rounds. So Prabhupada doesn't say you have to chant only 16 rounds. Yes, of course, 16 quality rounds are must. But Prabhupada adds that as long as we don't have other services, if we don't have any other services, we are supposed to chant the holy names. We are not supposed to chant only 16 rounds. More than 16 rounds. Actually, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur says you have to chant 64 rounds. Otherwise, we are called Patita. If we don't chant in 64 rounds, we are Patita. So, today we are doing so many services. I have a young body. We are giving preaching. We are doing all those things. But what is our fate when we cross 60 and 70? What is our situation? Can we remember Bhagavad Gita slokas? Can we give preaching when we preach like this? Can we do Janmashtami festivals like that? No. Yeah, as long as we have this body, we have this youthful body, we are going to do all those things. But when our body starts deteriorating, so what are we going to do? So only stop at 16 rounds? So we have to get that taste in the holy name. We have to understand that except the holy name, there is no other way to shake shelter. Krishna says, we are all Harinama eva kevalam. So if you don't have the taste in the chanting of the holy name, at the right old age, what are we going to do? So as we had heard the lecture from Chaitanya Charan Prabhu, if there is no meaning in our life, and meaningful object is removed from our life, we are going to get disappointed, distracted, ultimately depressed. At the old age, which is going to come in few years, maybe 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years, it is going to come to all of us. At that time, all the other services are getting removed. Then we will be distracted, disgusted, and depressed. So before that, we all should get the taste in the chanting of the holy names. Try to chant more and more and more and more, especially in the Brahma Muhurta. In the beginning of the creation, you created all these moving and non-moving living entities by your inconceivable energy. Though this, through this very same energy, you are now prepared to protect the living entities. Indeed, you are the supreme protector of the religious principles. Why are you so anxious to kill me, even though I am in the form of a cow? My dear Lord, although you are one, and by your inconceivable potencies, you have expanded yourself in many forms. Through the agency of the Brahma, you have created this universe. You are therefore directly the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Those who are not sufficiently experienced cannot understand your transcendence. Those who are not experienced cannot understand that. Unless one is favored, this is very much important. Unless one is favored by the and specially endowed with grace, he cannot understand how the one Supreme Personality of Godhead acts through his different energies. So there are so many people outside say, how can Krishna do this? How can Rama do that? We cannot understand the leelas of this Supreme Personality of Godhead because they are not a devotees. So, my dear Lord, by your own potencies, you are the original cause of the material elements, the performing instrument, the senses, the workers of the senses, the controlling, the intelligence of the and ego, as well as everything else. So, Mother Earth is saying, you are the everything, the senses, the objects, everything. You are the one, and everything is coming from you. My dear Lord, you are the always unborn, once in the form of the old original boar. You rescued me from the waters in the bottom of the universe. Through your own energy, you create all the physical elements. So she is reminding how he protected in the form of a boar. Please protect me in this condition. My dear Lord, in this way you once protected by rescuing me from the water, and consequently your name has become famous as Radhara, the holder of the earth. Yet, at the present moment, in the form of a great hero, you are about to kill me. The sharpened arrows. I am, however, just like a boat on the water, keeping flow. My dear Lord, I am the creation of the one energy. One energy is composed of these three modes material nature. Consequently, I am bewildered by your activities. Even the activities of your devotees cannot be understood what to speak of your pastimes. Thus, everything appears to us as contradictory and wonderful. Anyone would volunteer to read the yellow text?
Can I read it?
Yes, yes. Please go ahead.
It is not possible for a tiny human being to estimate the purpose and plans of such activities. Therefore, Srila Jiva Goswami has said that unless the Lord's activities are accepted as inconceivable, they cannot be explained. Srimad Bhagavatam, it is confirmed that all the incarnations are partial expansions or Kala of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. However, Krishna is the original Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Thank you, sir. So ultimately, we cannot understand the inconceivable potencies of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, by our own means, until and unless, at least theoretically, accept that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Until and unless we surrender to Krishna, we are not going to understand what are the activities of Krishna, why Krishna is doing. We cannot understand what is his relation with the gopis. Without surrendering, people will jump onto the gopi lila and say that Krishna is enjoying with the ladies, I also enjoy with the ladies. So we are not able to understand the actions of a devotees. What to speak of Supreme Personality of Godhead? But only by the mercy of the Supreme Personality of Krishna, only by his causeless mercy, we can understand him. So when we are going to pray, we have to pray for that causeless mercy to fall upon us. So anything we have to do is only for the service of Krishna. These instructions to different persons appear contradictory, yet we should know that Super Soul, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, has some plan. So whatever is happening in our life, it looks like something contradictory is happening, but we should understand that there is a hand in Krishna. So hand of Krishna. We should have our own plans. That is good, okay, but we should include Krishna's plans as well. We should understand there is a higher hand in this, and we should not consider such activities contradictory. The best course is to surrender unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead with wholeheartedly and being protected by Him and remain peaceful. Only by after surrendering to Krishna, you can become peaceful. Sarvadharman Hariteja, Mamekam Sharanamaja, Aham Tam Sarva Papebhyo, Mokhayami Masuchaha. This is the conclusion of Bhagavad Gita and conclusion of the 10th chapter. We all have to surrender to the Krishna. So, just as a recap of what I have seen, so Prithu Maharaj satisfies the birds, Prithu Maharaj respects everyone, and Vidura's questions to Maitreya Muni about Prithu, how did the earth take the form of a cow, what are the calves, what is the milking pot, and how did the Prithu Maharaj make the earth even. So, why did Indra steal the sacrificial cow, which we can see in the next chapter? So, what is the destination Prithu Maharaj attained after receiving Jnana from Sanat Kumara? We have seen Maitreya starts answering. Why did the citizens approach Prithu Maharaj? Because of the scarcity of food and lack of occupational duties. As a supreme personality of Godhead, he has to engage everyone in the occupational duties. They are suffering from the hunger. Actually, our hunger is of the hunger of love, not for the food. Earth can produce enough food, but only the hunger of love. There is a deficiency of love. Prithu Maharaj contemplates on the citizens' lamentation. Prithu Maharaj's anger at the earth, then earth fears and starts running in the form of a cow. Prithu Maharaj chases the earth. The earth becomes helpless. She understands that there is no other way except for the surrender. Earth creations not to be killed because Prithu Maharaj is a knower of religion. As a knower of religion, he shelter one who takes one who falls for surrender should be protected. Krishna said that. So he has to protect Mother Earth now. You are the king and should protect all the living entities. I am a poor person. I have not committed any offenses. How can Dharmagyan like you kill a woman? So no one strikes even a simple woman. So what to speak of a supreme personality of God? So she gives so many reasons like this. And Prithu Maharaj says that because you have disobeyed my reason or orders, you have not produced sufficient food grains. You have not filled your milking bags, though you have taken the grains. You do not deliver the seeds of the plants. With your flesh, pacify the hunger stricken. I am going to take your flesh and satisfy my citizens. And a king may kill a cruel person. So, like the Tatki was a cruel person who is coming in between the yajnas. So she should be killed, and Rama did that. You are you are a false, proud, and insane cow, and I will support the entire population by my mystic powers. So no need to worry about who is going to hold. By my potency, I am going to protect all those paraphernalia. Then it starts surrendering. I offer respects to you, the transcendental Lord, who expands in the many forms and species, and by your eternal energy, as a universal form and a form are composed of the gunas, always remain transcendental and unaffected by the waves of the material existence. So you shall not know, but your activities cannot be understood by any other person. Only by the mercy of the Krishna, one can understand the Krishna Kada. The Lord's energies were discussed. He glorifies him as Dharadhara, one who upholds Mother Earth in the form of a mother boar. I am bewildered by your activities. So if there is an acute shortage of the food, the dried up cow can maybe utilized to feed the hungry masses of the people, but the maintenance of the slaughterhouses for the satisfaction of the tongue should never be sanctioned. In essence, so we should all take the surrender of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. There is no other way. The surrender starts from the chanting of the holy name. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to speak something about the Maharaj. I open this forum for your question answers, suggestions, chastisement. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Santosh Prabhu, for the wonderful session.
Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you, everyone, for joining.
Thank you. So if there are no questions, shall we stop it here? I don't think it's a straightforward and small class.
Yeah, Prabhuji, we can end the session here.
वाञ्छा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। रामाचार्य श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। ट्रांसेंडेंटल बुक श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। श्री प्रभुपाद की जय।
Thank you,
Thank you, sir.
Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you so much.
Thank
Thank
you,
you, Prabhuji.
Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam, Prabhuji.
Dandavat Pranam.
Prabhuji, thank you.
Dandavat Pranam to all of you.